morning. So, in today's lecture, we are going to continue with the autoregressive models. So, in the last lecture, lecture 7, we have introduced the autoregressive models and then studied the mean, variance, autocovariance function, autocorrelation function. And actually, the prior to that, when we introduced partial autocorrelation function, we have studied the partial autocorrelation function of AR models at that point of time. Now, in today's lecture, we are going to discuss a little more about the stationarity of AR models. So, let's proceed further. So, I consider an AR1 process. So, for example, you can AR1 process like xt equal to phi xt minus 1 plus zt, where zt is a white noise series. Now we know already that, so I am talking the stationarity in terms of the values, like for what values of phi this is going to be stationary. So when phi equal to 1, the AR model become a random walk that we know because this xt equal to xt minus 1 plus zt, and we have studied the random walk in detail and we have seen that it is non-stationary. So when phi equal to 1, it is non-stationary. Now I'm going to introduce a concept what is called a polynomial related to the AR model. So what is a polynomial related to AR model? I'll define phi b as 1 minus phi of b as a polynomial in b of degree 1 because this doesn't have higher powers. Or in other words, you can write phi z equal to 1 minus phi z. These two are different. This is just a notation to indicate that you are polynomial, whereas this is the parameter or this is the coefficient which appears over here, right? So this is a polynomial of degree 1. Now if you are equating that to 0, phi z equal to 0, we can see that 1 minus phi z is equal to 0. This has a root, so z equal to 1 upon phi, which is equal to 1 when you are assuming phi equal to 1. And this is the situation we call that there is a root which is unit for this polynomial, which is known as a unit root of the polynomial equation associated with AR1. So the polynomial equation is basically, where is this polynomial equation coming from? It is coming from this AR representation, because in the AR representation you have this, so which can be written as phi b xt, which means 1 minus phi b of xt. So this is equal to xt minus phi xt minus 1 equal to zt. Now, if you write like this, maybe we can see that I can take it on the other side and write xt is equal to 1 minus vb inverse zt. But now there is a problem. As a notation, it is fine. But what is the guarantee that, because this is now becoming an infinite series, will be some conditions arise for the convergence of this. So that's where you are actually writing this as summation I equal to 0 to infinity phi to the power of I zt minus I. Now this series converges. Now if it is a real series, I know that this converges only if absolute of this is less than 1. If it is a random series, we have to talk about, I think I mentioned it the other day, we have to talk in terms of convergence of random sequence of numbers. So I may have to take define an xk and then or xn I equal to 0 to n. Just this xn is just a notation. I mean nothing to do with the t, and then allow n to go to infinity, so that that random variable should actually converge to something called xt, which is a proper random variable. So this, for the time being, so what are the conditions required for that? Now this is being a white noise, its mean and variance exist. There is absolutely, and it is constant. So the condition that is required for such a kind of a thing is the convergence. In fact, if we go for variance, this is phi to the power of 2i will come, or you can say phi square. But then the square convergence is implied by absolute convergence. So basically we are interested in, or we will put a condition in terms of absolute convergence. So under what condition above infinite sum converges? So that is xt is a proper random variable. And we can see that this convergence happens only if absolute phi is less than 1. So question, this is a question. What happens if absolute phi less than 1 or absolute phi greater than 1? Is AR1 a stationary sequence in such a case? So what we are now claiming that absolute phi is less than 1, it is a stationary sequence. Because when absolute, now I'll go back to this and then sort of explain this to you. So what you have is, we have xt as summation, say j equal to 0 to infinity y to the power of j, say t minus j. This is the notation that we have. So if you try to compute its expectation, assuming that this is sort of, finite. So finiteness is actually guaranteed by, so basically I'll be considering sigma to the power of c, phi to the power of, so I'll take this, sorry, so maybe I have to consider this. I'll consider this as some k, and then this limit k tends to infinity. This is phi to the power of phi to the power of j, set t minus j. So what we have actually, I mean, like, you have to actually take this in terms of this limit. And then here what we are going to do, that we are going to talk in terms of expectations, squared convergence. So you know convergence in rth mean. So xn converges to x in rth mean if expected value of xn minus x, this goes to 0. This is what the arc mean. So using the same idea, I'm going to now claim that as n become infinity, I mean as k tends to infinity, you have basically this quantity, we will be looking at phi to the power of j, and then because expected value of this is 0, I'll assume the convergence. I mean, I'll be able to show that this is actually for finite k. You can take expectation inside because these are finite. If you put finite k, if you take expectation goes inside and this becomes 0, so you get this is for k. So this becomes 0. So therefore, now you allow k to go to infinity. So you can see that this you take inside. So the condition that is required in this case is this absolute of phi less than 1. Because this is basically a geometric series, and you know that infinite geometric series, the convergence happens when this condition hold. So essentially, now what happens that you also have this this k, phi to the power of phi square j. Actually, phi to the power of 2j, which I am writing like this. This is for the expectation, and this is for the variance. In fact, that is the case when r equal to 2. This variance case. So in such a case, you want summation j equal to 0 to infinity phi square, that has to be convergent. So that if this is true, then that is guaranteed. So basically that is, I think, your real analysis exercise. So we can see that ultimately the condition that we require for, why I am worried about mean and variance, because I told you we are interested in the weak stationarity. So this should be, see, the point is that if that is not the case, of course there is a sigma square which comes over here, because this is when you have expected value of the square of this is the sigma square. Now that comes outside because this doesn't have t, because that's where this uncorrelated constant variance plays a role. But if it is not a constant variance, here you are in trouble, because then you may end up with something like some constant, some c, and sigma t square. So that's where I think somebody asked me, what is the significance of this through mail, this constant variance. So the constant variance is basically a part of the assumption of the stationarity. Constant variance as well as constant mean. If you don't have that, you don't have the weak. See, when I say stationarity, I'm talking about weak stationarity. Because if it starts changing at every time point, then you don't have the stationary series. Okay? So this is... so these are the condition. I'm not going actually to the, you can read more on this on some standard time series textbook if you really interested in the probabilistic arguments of that. So here I am restricting to very simple situation. So what we have here in this case is when phi less than 1 or phi greater than 1, we want to ask this question, is AR1 stationary? So the answer to that is when absolute of phi less than 1, when you say absolute of phi less than 1, so you can see that the roots z lie outside the unit circle because absolute of phi less than 1 implies z is greater than 1. Where do you get that? You get it from this previous one. So for example, in this equation, phi is equal to 1 by z. So when phi less than 1, 1 by phi should be greater than 1. That means z should be greater than 1. So that's where when you talk in terms of stationary, when this is happens, so which essentially means that the root, in fact that has a single root because that's a polynomial equation of degree 1. So it will have only one solution. So that solution should lie outside the unit circle. It cannot lie on the unit circle because we have seen that if it lies on the unit circle, it is going to be a random walk. So it has to lie outside the unit circle. I am not talking about coefficient, I am talking about the root of the polynomial. Now the root lie outside the unit circle as long as the coefficient lie inside. So that's why we put the condition in terms of phi, absolute of phi less than 1 in the case of an AR1 model. Okay. So now question is what happens if phi greater than 1? So when phi is greater than 1, so it's okay. Let me go back and show you something interesting. So this is your model phi xt minus 1 plus zt. Now suppose your absolute of phi is greater than 1. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to divide this 1 by phi xt is equal to xt minus 1 plus 1 by phi zt, and then rewrite this equation. Xt minus 1 is equal to some phi star xt minus, so this is can be written as I'll just write minus 1 by phi of zt, or we'll write it as x star zt plus z, sorry, this is not zt, xt minus 1 plus some zt star. So this is also in the form of, now what happens that whenever this phi is greater than 1, absolute of phi star is less than 1. So then you may immediately ask that, okay, then this process is stationary or what? Well, this is stationary. There is no problem. Sorry, I think I made a mistake here. This is not t minus 1. It's t. See this equation, xt minus 1 is equal to this is stationary. I mean, you can actually get the stationary equation over here because the root is going to lie, outside the unit circle because we have assumed that absolute of phi greater than 1, that we already assumed. So from there, it is possible to have this phi star to be less than 1. So everything is fine. But the problem is, you see there is something unnatural here. What is unnatural? T minus 1 is going to depend on xt. Now, theoretically speaking, it's okay for a process. That's fine. But when you have a data, how can you do the analysis? Because you are basically trying to see that t minus 1 is going to write a function of xt, and xt might not have even realized. Because at a time point t, if we are considering, you can't. So essentially speaking, and of course this is one order. If you have pth order, it is going to depend on t plus 1, t plus 2, etc., t plus p. So you are at time point t, you are going to write an equation which depends on the future values, which is not acceptable. So this essentially means that this has some issue, and this issue is basically what is called as causality issue. In the sense, such process is not causal. That means you cannot write in terms of the past xzt's. That's what happened because xt minus 1 is going to come and depend on t. Actually, we should write in terms of the past value of t. In fact, if I am writing xt minus 1, it should involve only t minus 1, t minus 2, t minus 3, etc. That's not happening here. So let's come back to this. So this is where you could able to write like this. So even five less than five greater than one. This is what happens. So mathematically speaking, there is a stationarity issue. I mean, there is no stationarity issue because you can actually write the process and then say that okay, the coefficient lie inside the unit circle because now that I have a new coefficient. But such a process is not of interest because the present depends on the feature, and sometimes it is also called as explosive case or explosive series and not of interest in general. So essentially speaking, now I'm trying to conclude the whole thing. So essentially speaking, we in an AR1 situation, we have three cases as far as stationary is concerned. One is absolute phi less than 1 equal to phi equal to plus or minus 1, and the third one is absolute of phi greater than 1. So when absolute of phi less than 1, the series has a mean level to which it reverts back. We have seen the AR1 plots. So you can see that when absolute of phi less than 1, it comes back or mean reversion happens. So for a positive phi, the series tend to wander around above or below the mean level for a while. For a negative phi, it actually crosses both sides because you can have higher values. The series tends to flip back and forth. That is above and below the mean. So it's like positive autocorrelation, negative autocorrelation because phi is the one-step autocorrelation. Phi square is a two-step autocorrelation in AR1. So you can see that. See, don't get confused. I mean, with the two-step, three-step autocorrelation doesn't cancel out in the case of AR model. Only partial autocorrelation cancel out but lag one. Okay, so for negative phi, it actually goes back and forth. So the series is called stationary, meaning that the mean level and variance do not change over time. The way the future depends on the past doesn't change over time. That's what the stationarity. So you have the stationarity in this case, absolute of phi less than 1. And when phi equal to 1, we have seen that that is nothing but the random walk case. The series has no mean level and it is called non-stationary. So then if there is a drift parameter, it actually set the direction in which the series wanders to start with. And depending on the variance, it can go either side. The variance is infinity in this case, in fact, because you get sigma square upon 1 minus phi square and phi equal to 1. So, it is infinity. And when absolute of phi greater than 1, the series is said to be explosive, non-causal. Now let's look at AR2. Now what happens at AR1 was easy because your coefficient equation or polynomial equation was an easy one. It's the first degree. Look at the AR2. So AR2 is xt equal to phi1 xt minus 1 plus phi2 xt minus 2, or you may be able to write this polynomial in this fashion, 1 minus phi1 b minus phi2 b square, where this is called the polynomial equation. And now let's try to compute the roots of this equation. This will have how many roots? This will have two roots. So if the roots lie outside the unit circle, we can say that that inversion is possible. See, because basically whether it is AR1 or AR2, you will be looking in this way. See, that is where the causality idea comes, because what is causal is like, see, it is like if your series is xt, so you have, this is some polynomial equation. This is your AR model. Now, if it is AR2, this is going to be 1 minus phi1b minus phi2b square. If it is ARP, etc. So what we are trying to do, you are trying to see that is xt. You are trying to write this in this form. I'm writing a notation, okay? There is nothing like 1 upon 5b. This is just a notation. So this, if we denote this by some psi b. Now, what is happening is that this psi b should be in such a way that this is now going to be an infinite expansion because you have to the power of minus 1. So basically phi b to the power of minus 1 is, for example, in the case of AR1 case, This is 1 minus phi b to the power of minus 1. So what is this going to be? 1 plus phi b plus phi square b square plus etc. Infinite expansion. Similarly, you can also write for AR2 because AR2 coefficient is here to the power of minus 1. So basically what is happening that you get an infinite series over here. So this come back to the convergence of that series. So in the case of AR1, the series is looking like this, 5 to the power of j set t minus j. This is in the case of AR1. And in the AR2 case, I may not be able to write like this, but it is essentially this to the power of minus 1. This means this quantity to the power of minus 1 and multiplied by zt. So that's what it is. So what I'm trying to say that the convergence of that depends on the roots of this equation, the polynomial equation. So I'll be able to write a polynomial equation. What is the polynomial equation that I'll be writing? Phi z. And then try to find the roots of this equation, phi z equal to 0. And if the roots lie outside the unit circle, we have the convergence or we have the causality. In fact, causality in the sense because you will be able to write in this manner. What manner? Xt as past values of errors. An infinite linear in fact, Xt as a linear combination of past values of these innovations. That's what we have done. But we have done here. But that put a condition on this. And this I am talking about AR1. Similarly, you will have condition for AR2. So essentially, that means naturally you are going to put a range for the parameter to lie. Even though phi 1, phi, if in the case of AR2, there are two parameters, phi 1 and phi 2. So you cannot take any arbitrary real values because then that doesn't guarantee the stationarity. Okay. So in the case of AR1, the range at which it lies is absolute of phi less than 1. So here absolute of phi less than 1. Now, in the case of 2, phi 1, in the case of AR2, I have to put conditions on phi 1 and phi 2 such that this lie in certain range. So you may think that is it this condition? Is this condition? In fact, this is not. This is much larger area. In fact, this is not the condition that we will be. This entire area is not available. There are some conditions that we are going to put, and that in fact, this is not the region. There are some, we are going to see that in a minute. So the question here is, and we know that if so you can talk always in terms of roots of the equation. Because roots of the equation guarantee me a representation like this. Therefore, I immediately say that, okay, the convergence, I mean, the series is stationary. So in higher order AR model, we can actually, the condition that we need, we will be giving in terms of roots of the polynomial equation. So here, so for example, stationary, if the two roots lie outside the unit circle. And in fact, this particular thing that we can show that the condition that two roots lie outside the unit circle can be further written in terms of phi 1 and phi 2 because the roots are in terms of phi 1 and phi 2. For example, in the AR1, what is the root? It is only one root and z is given by 1 upon 5. So similarly, in the case of AR2, there are two roots, z1 and z2, and which will be written in terms of phi 1 and phi 2. Some functions of phi 1 and phi 2. That's going to be the root. We will discuss that in a minute. So finding the stationarity condition in terms of the coefficient is actually difficult. In fact, it is not easy to establish relationship with the higher order AR models. But however, we can verify the stationarity condition is easily verified once we have the values of the coefficients. So by definition, so it is something like this. So for example, here if I have phi 1 and phi 2, my claim is that these two lies in this region. How do you get this? That's not difficult. A little bit of algebra, 10 standard algebra. So for example, if I have two roots for this equation, the roots are given by this, minus b plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac by 2a. So I have this polynomial equation equate to 0, solve, these are the two equations, its reciprocal is given by this. Now, because I want this root to be greater than 1, so I'll just consider z1, z2 greater than 1. So if I consider 1 by z1, 1 by z2 with absolute value, that will be, multiply them, that will be equal to my phi 2. So I'll get absolute of phi 2. Now 1 by z1, 1 by z2, when you multiply, you can see that because z1, z2 greater than, individually greater than 1, this has to be less than 1, which means that absolute of phi 2 less than 1. Okay? Now, if you add two roots of z1 and z2, in fact, sorry, 1 by z, not root, reciprocal, 1 by z1 plus 1 by z2, you get this coefficient phi 1. And this 1 by z1 is actually, this is less than 2, uh, because this is less than 1, this is less than 1, so this is the sum is less than 2. So you can write this is less than 2 and this is equal to absolute of phi 1. There is little bit of algebra you need to do from here to here. Okay, so that you can do from, because I have given these values, substitute them, simplify, you get this. Okay, so this shows that now for now we have a situation where the roots need not be real all the time, because it's a quadratic equation, so you can be real and complex roots. So if you have the real roots, then you will be able to establish something like this, like minus 1 1 by z2 is equal to this quantity, which is less than or equal to, because there is a minus here, so plus means it is larger, and this will be 1 by z1 and this will be 1 by z2 less than 1. So you consider this individually, this quantity. Remove, I mean, you can just ignore this and consider minus 1 less than this quantity. And then take 2 on this side, simplify this, you get 5 or 2 plus 5 1 less than 1. Similarly, you consider this quantity, you get phi 2 minus phi 1 less than 1, which means that in the case of complex roots, we want phi 2 less than 0, as well as phi 1 square plus 4 phi 2 less than 0, because that comes, this quantity, the delta, I mean, whatever that you have learned in your 10th standard, which determine whether the roots are complex or real. So the stationarity, so basically, after simplifying this, we can now see that the stationarity condition come down to this, this, and this, this. In fact, this we have already taken, so this will be satisfied. So this condition. So you can have uh, this. See, this is actually I am taking it from here. So this is yeah, absolute of phi 2 less than 1. So we can see that, see this, even though here this is this condition I am taking, phi 1 actually lies between minus 1, minus 2 to plus 2. But then we are bringing a condition which is inside that. So we have to restrict to this. Okay, so that's why that phi 1 condition is not coming here. So you have this condition, and this is the region for the stationarity. If you put a graph, it looks like this. So the graph is not the entire unit square. We may think that if you have taken absolute of phi 1 less than 1, absolute of phi 2 less than 1, you could have actually got it somewhere minus 1 to plus 1 here and minus 1 to plus 1 here, but that's not the case in this situation. It's basically something like, because this is phi 1 plus phi 2 less than 1, phi 1 minus phi 2 minus phi 1 less than 1, and then absolute of phi 2 less than 1. So this together, this region gives me the complex roots, and this gives me the real root. So, of course, this is just for you to illustrate. We will not ask you to find these things. How difficult the region of the parameters so that stationarity is guaranteed. So, it is not very easy to decide in which region the parameter value should lie so that the given series is stationary. So I am showing you in the case of AR2 how it is difficult. So if you go for AR3 or AR4, it's pretty difficult to find this. So that's why, but stationarity is very important to check. So in such situations, we check the stationarity by considering the roots of the polynomial equation, and just see that whether the roots are lying outside the unit circle or not. So I'll demonstrate with an example. So in the case of AR2, if I have this series, this is an AR2 model. Now I don't, I wanted to know whether this is stationary or not. So I find the polynomial. This is the polynomial equation, equate to 0. I get the roots of this equation, minus b plus or minus. There are two roots, 1 and 0.8. And the roots are not lying outside the unit circle, because this root lie on the unit circle, so it has a unit root. and this root lie inside the unit circle. So this series is not a stationary series. On the contrary, if you have some other choices here, it may so happen that both Z1 and Z2, absolute of Z1 is greater than 1, absolute of Z2 greater than 1. Now remember that when you do this kind of an exercise, there may be square root of minus sign. That square root of minus sign doesn't mean that the roots are greater than 1 or less than 1. That simply say that you have a complex root. We have to compute the absolute. What is meant by absolute of a complex number? Square root of, I mean, a plus ib, if that is a complex number, the absolute of that is square root of a square plus b square. So don't get confused. If you get a complex root, that doesn't mean that series is non-stationary. You have to compute the absolute value of that and show that this root lie outside the unit circle. So it is something like this. I'll just show you. So when you have this process, you need to compute. So it is like this. So if you have, say for example, in the case of AR2, the polynomial that we consider is 1 minus phi1 z minus phi2 z square. And then we try to find z1 and z2 roots. And then we find whether this is satisfied. Both should lie outside the unit circle. So now in the process, this could be a complex number. So in such a case, absolute means if it is a complex number, z equal to a plus ib, then the absolute of z is square root of a square plus b square. So you need to compute this, and of course, if there are no imaginary part, it is real, then you can talk directly about this. So this is, one has to be very careful about this. Now, this is the exercise that we carry out in the case of AR2. Now, one can say that I can extend this and then talk about in general ARP and then try to see that. So if for ARP, how many roots will be there? There will be p roots, and all these p roots, the absolute should be greater than 1 for that to be stationary. Okay. So now don't get confused with roots and coefficient, because coefficient is something which is given here, that is phi 1 and phi 2. Roots is actually roots of this polynomial equation. They are not the same. They are different. So, but we are going to decide the stationarity based on the roots, not based on the coefficient. Well, you can connect them, but then it is very difficult. We have seen that in the AR1 and AR2 we have connected. AR1, what was the connection? Root z is equal to 1 upon 5. AR2, what was the connection? There is no direct connection that you can write, but you can say the product of the roots and the sum of the roots has some relationship. Finally, we got the region as phi 1 plus phi 2, phi 2 minus phi 1, absolute of phi 2. Okay, so this is what now we'll consider the ARP. So in the case of ARP, you have the pth degree polynomial. This is the ARP model, phi bxt equal to zt. So ARP polynomial is given by this. So what is the condition? Now I'll just generalize this. So the condition, stationarity condition is this, given by the roots of this equation should lie outside the unit circle. How many roots are going to be there? There will be p roots. All the p has to be lying, absolute of that should lie outside the unit circle. It may be noted that it is difficult to find the allowed region of parameters for p greater than or equal to 3. So we have seen in the case of 2 itself it was difficult. Now this is my last slide, so I just wanted to show you one interesting factor here. Like this I started writing in the beginning. If you consider an ARP, we can see that the ARP is nothing but xt equal to 1 upon 5 bzt, which can be written as psi bzt, where psi b is 1 plus psi 1b plus psi 2b square, etc., such that this product is equal to 1. I mean, that's quite clear. So psi b into psi b should be as b equal to 1. So the psi weights can be derived by equating the coefficient of b to the power of j on both sides. So it's like if I have, so I'll have something like this. If you have xt, phi b, xt, sorry. or you have xt equal to, this is AR and this is an MA process. This is a polynomial. This is also a polynomial. This is also a polynomial. This is generally we write it as 1 plus theta 1b plus etc. plus theta q b to the power of q, q3 degree polynomial. So in such a case we get it as MAQ. This we write it as 1 minus phi 1b minus phi 2p square minus phi p b to the power of p. So this is called ARP. So this is a polynomial of degree p. This is a polynomial of degree q. Of course, some books you may see minus here. I mean that doesn't matter because minus theta 1 you can write it as some theta 1 star. So plus some minus of theta 1. So that actually doesn't matter. You have to be consistent with what you are doing. That's all. Now what I am trying to say that, so if you have an AR process, sorry. So if you have an AR model, this is my AR. This AR has a representation, MA infinity representation. MA infinity because once I write this, now I don't have this AR thing. So if it is, for example, if I write 1 minus phi b xt equal to zt. So when I write this, it's 1 minus phi b inverse zt. What is this going to be? Summation phi to the power of j zt minus j. So this is j equal to, sorry. So this is actually a MA infinity. Of course, I assume that this converges because you have to be very clear when you write like this. This is an infinite series, it has to converge. So a stationary AR model, a finite order, is nothing but an infinite order MA model. Similarly, you will be able to write a finite order MA. This is actually a finite order MA. I'll be able to, for example, if it is MA1, what is this going to be? Xt equal to 1 plus theta 1b zt. Isn't it? Zt plus theta 1 zt minus 1. You take it on the other side, what you will get? It is 1 plus theta 1b so inverse xt equal to zt. So you can see that now this, once I write inverse, this is actually an infinite. So this zt you will be able to write in terms of an infinite past orders of this. So this is what exactly the idea of causality and invertibility. So when I say causality, I mean you will be able to write xt in terms of the past value of zt. Able to write, actually put a condition on this. Similarly, able to write a condition on theta 1 because this inversion give me an infinite series. So is it possible to write zt in terms of past values of xt? So then if that is possible, we call it as invertible. If this is possible, we call this as causal, or this process as causal. Okay, if so, the causality is associated with this, invertibility is associated with this. Okay, let's go back. So this is, I haven't really introduced that those two earlier, but here I am repeating. So the causality is associated with I mean, like you can see that the stationarity, but causality is much more general. We are just demanding that you will be able to write in terms of past values. But stationarity is much more, or I would say stationarity is much more general because that talks about roots of this equation, roots of the polynomial. Whereas when you want to write causal, so we have seen the case in the AR1 when absolute of phi greater than 1, you can get a stationary series, but which is derived out of the xt, not the original series, but derived out of the xt. But then the problem is that process we are not interested, because that representation actually gives the present depends on the future values. Okay, so we have some exercise here. The exercise is show that the first order AR process is equivalent to an infinite order MA process. Do it for the AR1 and AR2. Similarly, a invertible first order MA process is an infinite order AR process. So do it for these two cases. Okay, thank you.